right, song two. We're
Song
going
number
right.
2.
Song 2. An hour in. Let's go, boys.
It's okay. It's okay. We're establishing a lot of good groundwork at the start. So this is Prelude, The Dark Age of the Law. Music by Abigail Stanton. Additional music by Maxwell Dziabis. That's me. Quoted music by Masakazu Sugimori. Kate did the piano vocal arrangement, and the orchestral arrangement is Abby, Lizzie, and Kate.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this is my court theme medley. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
I love
Yeah,
this.
I mean, it was based on Max. So I think it was part of.
Yes.
I think it was like an early overture.
The very first scratch track I did all of like what I thought underscore would sound like between scenes and so on. Like I literally like I made it like a whole sound experience. I had like applause. Just to be like, what would this sound like if you were just like sitting in the theater listening to it? And so I just like vocally improvised. Well, not I planned out and vocally performed some ideas like, oh, this is like what underscores would sound like. And then I had this whole underscore between the overture and August Day with a variation on the opening narration from Turnabout Musical Live. You know, the jury's been removed from the courtroom, trials last no more than 2 days, etc. Basically, yeah, it was just a bunch of different melodies from the game put together. And then Abby took over.
Yeah, so this was one of my earlier ones, and it was a good intro because it was just kind of throwing together the different themes. Yeah, so I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say here. I think the vocal part, I think I had written it, and then someone, I think it was Liv, suggested like, oh, what if we added ensemble here? And I was like, sure. So I did
Yeah,
just
like that.
So I did just copy over the brass part into the vocals, which worked out fine. The bass part is terribly cursed. Which
I had to sing. No, it's great. I love it.
You didn't have to. You chose to. How dare you take away your here?
Well, so the thing is, for every track as part of the recording process, we had synth guides, which basically is just like the vocal line exported in a sound font, like as like a synth clarinet or something, so people could listen to it and sing along and know what it sounds like. And then I had all those files on my computer, and I have them in my like Apple Music thing for some of them for some reason. And I was like half asleep and then that track came on, so it was just like blaringly loud, just a clarinet going bah, bah, bah. So yeah, that's an extra level of cursed that track has. Yeah, the only other thing I can think of is, you know, with the ace attorney, junior ace attorney, attorney.
Yeah, the fall.
Yeah. So Trumpet 2 forgot there was a third stinger, so he came in a little flat. Yeah, that's the whole story.
On the topic of vocal guides, I will never take an opportunity to not talk about how much I love Arri and love Ari's vocal guides, in addition to synth guides, to ensure that everyone who's singing ensemble comes in together. I was literally talking to Julie the other day, being like, whenever I've like show people songs or parts of Turnabout Musical and I explained that it was like an online project we all came together to do, they're like, wow, when did you like meet up to sing? Because they like there's no way that you did all this virtually. I'm like, thank you, Sarah Shope. Now and always.
We have an Arri.
If Lizzie's saying Arri, everything will be okay.
If Lizzie's saying
Arri
that she was very neurotypical about was the engraving, for me it was the ensemble. I had very, very, very strong feelings about how I wanted the ensemble to sound and how clean I wanted it to sound. I wanted entrances and cutoffs and everything to be like perfectly in line, as if we had recorded in the same room. And so as part of that, I recorded the guide tracks for every single ensemble song and made the conductor tracks telling people when to come in and when to cut off. And I am really pleased with how it turned out. I don't know if it really was all necessary, but It was fun. I learned all the ensemble parts.
Arri, I think it was more helpful than you know.
I hope so.
Very nice.
It really is. Like, we're just an abundance of riches. And even then, and this just goes to show with the difficulty of making a project like this, even with all of that, you're still not going to get perfectly lined up tracks. So there is an extraordinarily amount of like micro editing that needs to happen in the edit as well.
Yes. So I have to shout out Diana, of course, for mixing all of the music. Who she would send me her works in progress and say, okay, here's the ensemble, and I would be like, okay, can you like the T's aren't quite in line here, can you clean it up? And she did. She fixed it all, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, just to repeat that, like, so people understand, like, every week we had like the songs we were recording, and generally speaking, the ensemble had 2 songs.
Yeah.
Every song has anywhere from 4 to 6 ensemble parts, which means every week Arri would sit down or stand up, I don't know how she sings at home, and record 8 to 10 songs of ensemble every week. So she is like superhuman and very cool, and I think everyone should know that.
To do it all before we started production. I did not. It was usually every Saturday.
Hell yeah.
And it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so worth it. The work absolutely shows.
Thank you. It was fun.
All right.
All
Next
right,
song?
should we move on?
Let's do it. Next song is August Day. Lyrics and music by Matthew Toronto. We've been saying Try. That's Matthew Toronto, in case that wasn't clear. Additional...
By Force Button.
Yeah.
Was his username.
His old screen name, yeah.
Yeah. Additional lyrics by Joel Williams, myself, and Olivia Ramsey. I could talk about it in a little bit. Additional music by Kate, quoted music by Masakazu Sugimori and Naoto Tanaka. I guess these will always come up, so I can explain that now. Masakazu Sugimori is the composer of the original Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the first 4 cases. Naoto Tanaka was the composer of Justice for All and Rise from the Ashes, and also did the arranging of the Game Boy Advance soundtrack to the DS. And then later, Noriyuki Iwadare will come up, who composed Trials and Tribulations and other Ace Attorney games. And then the rest on there, piano vocal arrangement by Kate and Ryan Cabildo, and orchestral arrangement by Abby.
Okay, so I can talk about orchestration, but do we want to like talk about like structure first?
I can talk about the order of what we did here. The work before Urnsmashers came in, that was the Joel and Liv and I. We changed a lot of the lyrics, mostly in the crowd part in the middle, swapping out characters and adding new stuff. So all the stuff with like Edgeworth and Payne and Lana.
It was so smart.
That was basically us. You know, why not use the intro song to introduce characters that are relevant to the story? Just a thought.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Insane.
For a while, we had the sort of second verse from Try, and like we never really worked out proper second lyrics, and eventually we were just like, we don't need it. We could just go right from that I'll win on this August day right into the crowd.
No more 15 minutes.
It was basically just like that until, if I remember correctly, Albino Squirrel's production in 2021, because we went to see that, and he incorporated the whole intro scene with Mia and Larry into the middle of August Day, and Arri and Joel and I are sitting there in the theater being like, duh, why aren't we doing that? So we stole that.
Really smart.
So we stole that idea, and we had Kate did like that underscore section, that whole underscore section with the Mia and Larry scene. Yeah, and it was much longer originally because we basically just took the scene we had, which was a separate scene in the scratch track, and just stuck it in there, and then we just cut it down because it didn't need to be that long. But all that music was really good.
Yeah, I
adore
this section.
I think Will There Be Justice for All at the end was also us pre-Urnsmashers.
I love that.
That was there when I was first sniffing my way through and making vocal sheets. That
I think
we're
that's
never going to see the light of
in
day.
terms of like structure. And then there was Mia's verse was originally a whole verse, and then we cut it, and then we put half of it back.
Yeah, I think I was like, can we please Just
Yeah, so what happened with this one is that I might talk about this a little later, but like at some point we were like, okay, we had this goal that we wanted to be sort of performable length. I forget exactly what number. Did we say like 2.5 hours?
That's what it was.
That was the version number.
Oh, no, I meant like
That was the but the length we wanted like 2.5 tops.
Or 2:45 maybe.
2:45, I think.
Yeah.
Was
2:45
And we were at, like-
pushing it tops.
we were not at that.
No.
So
Nope.
But a lot
you
of
know,
case
yeah,
one got cut
3.69.
down because we wanted to
Yes.
reach that goal. Dead Mentor in 20 minutes or your
Yes.
money back.
Right,
Yes, Dead
right,
Mentor
right.
20 minutes
Yeah,
or
I
your
want to
money
talk
back.
about that with objection song, but
Yeah.
like
Yes.
There's a file somewhere that's just called August Day, but we take no prisoners.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to talk about, the no prisoners cut. So yeah, that was kind of the philosophy of going through the script in that particular version, was like anything that we don't need, we're cutting it. And then lots of things went too far and we had to put them back. But in this, yeah, so this is what this case was. Like, we took out Mia's verse. Yeah, just like anything that was unnecessary got cut. And then I think one of the places where we put things back was like after we knew that the version we were going to put this out as was the audio drama, and it was less important that it was performable live and could kind of be as long as we wanted, then it was like, okay, we can be more lax on these cuts. So we we put Mia back in there.
Put back the stuff that like we liked, that like we really wanted to make sure
Yeah.
like got seen.
I really love Mia's just
I do
couple little
too.
lines.
Oh,
it's
great.
so it's just enough. You don't need that whole verse.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the way Lauren sings it is just so
It's beautiful.
you immediately understand Mia, I feel like.
Yeah.
Between
Love
her
Lauren.
dialogue, the underscore, and then those two lines, it's like there she is.
Yeah.
Like that's it, really.
And those lyrics were just like Phoenix's part from the middle section of the original August Day
So that's
that we
another-
took out because we wanted the focus on all of the
Right.
side characters to make sure that like the audience actually establishes them.
Yeah, that's another, I think, theme through some of the music, is we took out or like modified a lot of the
Like counterpoint.
what's it called? Counterpoint, that's the word. Yeah. Yeah, just to make it easier to understand the different lines. Yeah.
There's
Like-
still
like
a
you
lot
said,
of
to,
it,
like,
because like
keep the focus.
Counterpoint is kind of like almost like an attribute of like Turnabout musical music. Like it's
Yeah.
it's,
True.
it's
That's
kind
true.
of
That's true.
so we didn't like really take out that many. We just modified a lot.
Right.
Yeah, like even I think the most counterpoint heavy song is still modified down from the original, because the original
Is that
was
600,000 volts?
so much. No,
Red,
I
White,
was thinking
Blue.
Samurai.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh, yeah.
Red, white, do. Yeah. That would
Yeah.
be it.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll get there.
We will get
Yeah,
there.
we'll
We'll
talk
get
about
there
that.
when we get there. Oh, there's a story.
Patience, people.
We're going in
Us
order.
pushing it. Yes. Everyone calm down. Okay. But to get to some other things in here before I get to that dialogue section. First of all, I think this piano arrangement was based on Ryan Cabildo's orchestration,
Mhm.
which I wanted to give another shout out to, because Ryan Cabildo saved my life in college when it came to arranging stuff. Let me see. All of this is like basically the same. Whereas you have your little option up if you can't hit the low F sharp. Literally all this is the same. All this is the same. Oh, this like that was a moved transition, because that was not the original transition music. That's because you have the da 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 da, which was also in
Yeah.
the original, and it took me forever to find it until I was writing it
Yeah.
out. But this is directly the
Even though I've
decree
fallen.
transition.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even yep. See that man right? Like he's the changed lyrics. My favorite part of the changed lyrics in here is this fucking
Fools?
Sky Edgeworth.
The
These fools.
fools.
These fools.
Yeah, we did. These were the last lyrics to figure out in the song. For a while. It was just the fool's angry face. The fool's angry face.
The fool's angry face.
It's tough.
It has to be something.
I think the closest we got to before the current one, and actually I think the PV sheets are still wrong with this line.
They might be.
Is the I think originally it was, this town needs strong authority for keeping the peace in
Yes.
our society.
Yes.
Yeah. The PV sheets
There
are
was a
still
lot.
wrong.
There was a lot
Yes.
happening.
Listen.
And that's fine.
Listen.
It's fine. It's fine. It's part of the
Where
it's
is
part of the
it?
it's part of the
Yes.
story. It's part of the
The
story.
orchestra sheets still have this town.
Yeah.
I think the
I think the piano's
And-
correct.
piano's correct. The
Yeah.
PDF back here for the orchestra is wrong.
Yeah.
Also
But
tangent.
it's fine. It's the orchestra.
It's okay. It's tiny. You can't see it.
Tangent,
Yeah,
Exactly.
Tangent, but shout out to Queen Creeps, who recorded a take of Lana
Yes.
for this for one of our scratch tracks and
Yes.
just
Yeah.
fucking killed it.
Very good. Queen Creeps, who was
Delicious.
Maggie in the final production.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out, we had the question earlier about like process. And this is just kind of, I don't know, fun fact maybe, I don't know. Sometimes it would go original Turnabout musical track, piano vocal reduction, new orchestration for TAAAM. It would kind of go in that order. And sometimes it was like, we have the track and then we make the piano version. Usually I guess that was for my stuff
Yeah,
where we
because
had
you already had
more of the full
orchestrated stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of different workflows depending on what we were working with, where we were starting. So yeah, it helps to be able to go both ways. So it's cool that we could do that.
Yeah, like in
Like
general,
me.
for Matthew Toronto, we didn't have any of his tracks, so we had
Yeah.
to make them
Yeah.
all from scratch. Maybe I'll talk about that when we get what's the first whatever. Justice for All is the first
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew Toronto track that we had to make the piano vocal from scratch. So I'll talk about it more when we get to there.
And I think also because we hadn't 100% decided that we were going to do all new tracks right away.
Mm-hmm.
So the piano vocal was the priority of like, we want to have sheet music for people to follow.
Right.
And then it was like, oh, actually, we're going to reorchestrate everything. So now we have to expand it
Yeah,
out
I
again.
wonder when that change would have happened because
Oh, I remember.
before,
Oh.
yeah, before,
Oh,
before,
I don't know the exact date,
before you guys,
but it was mid-production.
before you guys came on board, Joel and Liv and I, we only could make music insofar as we had previous instrumental tracks that we could edit. The only exceptions, I think, is like Joel made new instrumentals for Keeping the Peace and for like half of What Have I Done. But
Yes.
like any new music we wanted to make, like we were not capable of doing that ourselves. So at some point it was basically just like, let's bring in like a couple music people to give us the tracks that like we have left that we needed to make. But then with everyone else coming on board and doing all this amazing stuff, it's like, well, now we have just a full new score.
Surprise.
Sorry.
No, that's wonderful.
Right. So this entire section with the that's all the same. 93. Here we go. So, this entire section underscore for the conversation with Mia, Larry, and Phoenix. And let me see if I can remember everything that I did because I didn't have my little notes on here. Okay, so we have Justice for All, the
And also
All right.
it's arranged into a time that suggests like cross-examination moderato.
Yeah.
That's underneath it too.
Yes, you have the
That's the underneath it,
oh yes, I did
Yep.
remember where it was. Okay, and so you have up here you have your da 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 da, and then I, being a cheeky little fuck, was like, you know what would be funny to put in here? Ba 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 da ba ba ba. If we put in some Godot music right
Yeah,
there, boys. And then no
Not the
one
first
said
time.
anything
Not
about
the first
it.
time, not the last time.
Yeah,
I
I
just
just
Not the
saw
first time, not the last time. In that exact same spot in the melody too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
was like,
Lizzie.
if it don't
Lizzie,
break.
was that- I guess we'll get Lizzie. Was that you and Justice for All the first time?
That was Kate. So I was
okay.
like,
Yeah.
I want Godot music here. Kate, will you do that for me?
Yeah, got it.
And,
And then we
so
did it.
that's why Kate has an arranging credit on Justice for All.
I
Is
did
for the
two
Godot part.
measures.
We didn't talk about this up front, so Max, I don't know if you want to put this in like a disclaimer when you edit. There probably will be spoilers, not like heavy spoilers, but for like the trilogy, possibly
yeah.
later
That's-
Oh, I
games.
guess.
So just like
True.
beware.
Well, it's
Who?
Godot's
Godot?
theme. It's here
No, it's
for
fine.
some reason. Don't worry about it.
Sorry
about it.
We can listen. If they're here, I don't see why
Yeah.
that's it. Whatever.
Uh,
Anyway,
Never mind.
I said it and I was like, hold on. I'm making direct eye contact with half the cast members. I am.
I know exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
But we're
Which
bullying
is
Ren
cool
for
that
not
like
playing AA3
we got
yet.
so many people who are just like just tangentially part of Ace Attorney, because they're bringing their own like acting talent to it without, in many cases, a lot of preconceptions about the characters, which is cool.
Yeah. Bum. And then this is just, it's got to be the
It's got
butts.
to be the butts.
This is good because you have a wow, Nick, that's quite a trick. It shocked even me. It's impressive how you managed to survive. And then down here you have a man off the stand. He's a sham and a disgrace, but it's a crime, wasting time for a prosecuting aid. Like that's all that is.
So fun.
I just repeated it
So
and I didn't do
fun.
the ending bit because it didn't sound as good. And then it's what is this? And then you have the lobby theme from the first game, I think? Question mark.
Yes, that's a lobby theme. Very intelligently,
Yes.
what is it?
It lined up well with the dialogue.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all I care about. I don't know how we managed to do that, but that rocked.
I guess what I mean in the game, there's like longer like breaks, like longer like drum fills between the sections. Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Oh yeah, because that
Yeah,
was
'cause I used it
I didn't have
later.
anything in the sheets, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this, and it's not gonna be quiet. Oh no, yeah, that's all that I changed from that was just cutting out those 2 measures of just like hi-hat hits or whatever they are, and then this piano section is back to August Day. And I'm trying to think, because this is also a direct rip from part of it, I think.
It's the
So am I truly prepared?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. And then this section, it's like the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't remember if that was from something or if that was just like, I'm going to make things sound cool. But it's there. And then your transition with the triplets. This, I think, was the only bar that was in the original. And then I was like, I need an extra bar in here. Your da-da-da-da-da-da.
I think that was.
I
that
literally
was
think
specifically-
the like I think that's the only part from the original.
Those 2 measures there are specifically a result of putting in 2 lines of Mia's verse and then going straight into the ensemble. I remember I had a couple like pitches for like how we could do it, how we could transition, and then I think Abby, but maybe it was Kate, came up with what we ended up with the triplets, which sounds really good.
Yeah, I'll talk about what happened when I do the go to New York.
Okay, I'm glad you guys know because I don't remember shit. These harmonies down here are, I think, just the original harmonies. If you go into the production package, I think there are tracks from Diana ? From TM Live.
I think it's at least built on the TM Live version. I have no idea if
they
that's the
are.
same as
I
the
think they're
original soundtrack or not.
I think they are because I was like, I don't understand why I need to change it because these are it. So I think these are just the original harmonies until you get to here, obviously. Which until you
Will
get
There
to,
Be
like,
Justice for All? That
was different.
I wrote that and I wrote the rhythm of it, and I had a line which wasn't a very good line, but it was there, and then you guys fixed it.
I remember like you had the rhythm, and I was like, I think I came up with the harmonic lines again before we were even making sheets or anything. I was just like, I think this would sound cool.
Yeah, I think it was you. I remember. I think that demo was
I remember
you.
hearing like, will there be justice for all in my head because I was like, that's gonna sound so sick. And then just on this August Day, I think is the same from the end, except for the I don't remember if the triplets were there in the original or not.
Yeah, they were.
But the triplets were.
Actually, I don't know those. Yeah, I thought you meant the end. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Oh no, that's definitely there. I don't remember where the triplets came from, but they're there and they sound really cool. Yeah,
August
that's August Day, baby. We did it.
Abby, did you have more to talk about?
Yeah, in terms of the orchestration.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
let's go back.
So yeah, I'm not going to go through all of it because I don't have a logic. But yeah, so I mean, like we talked about in general, like the orchestrations, we're trying to like style them more in the style of like a Broadway pit or like orchestra kind of. And again, sometimes we lost the plot. It's me, I lost the plot. So coming into this, I had no orchestration or really composing experience at all. So I was kind of figuring out as I went and just kind of feeling it out. But generally the style of like my process was I would listen to the original a few times and kind of pick out you know, moments I liked, instruments I liked, just anything I liked about it, and kind of made note of it, and then I would like put it away. And I think part of it was just like to make it more fun for me and like have the chance to do my own interpretation and like play around with it. So that's why most of my tracks, a lot of them at least, like have like substantial differences from the original. Part of that was just like me having fun with it. And then the other part is that I didn't have a 2-monitor setup, so it was really hard for to like go back and forth between listening to something and writing something. So I had it on my phone, but it's very hard to like scroll. Part of it was frustration with that. Yeah, so that's kind of my process. So just some things I was thinking about here. The opening, I wanted to like keep it the strings and the woodwinds, and I never wanted it to in the beginning like have a line. I always wanted every line something is moving, because like to get that like frantic energy until we get to the like, and I bring justice to light, like the more calm part. And also like Kate said, a lot of parts in the show Edgeworth is associated with the brass, so like I wanted to save it for that decree part of like the dun da 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 da. In terms of like character associations with instruments, I did throw a few in here in terms of, again, like the brass and flute with Edgeworth. There's definitely not like a strict assignment of instruments for characters that we keep throughout the show, just kind of vibes. But brass is and the flute often with Edgeworth. I think the most consistent one, besides I guess the organ for Von Karma, is probably the most consistent.
Yeah.
But the
and that's been there since day one. With anything to win.
Right. But also I think the harp for Mia, which I kind of like as like, you know, like she's the angel on the shoulder, he's the devil.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically anytime I had something with Mia, the harp probably came out. I have in my notes masterful underscoring by Kate.
Yes.
In terms of, like I mentioned, the no prisoners cut, that one was missing Mia's verse, and then we put in those 2 lines. So something you'll notice is like it starts to build. Let me think. So da 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 da, and then there's like a little harp bit, and it drops back down. I like that. I like that it's like Phoenix is getting ready to go, and then Mia taps him on the shoulder. Is like, hold on, let me give you a pep talk,
Honey.
But the actual reason it's like that is because I just like copy and pasted the verse in. It usually like the build was supposed to happen and go right into the triplets.
Yeah.
But then I put it in and I was like, oh man, I got to figure out this transition. But then I liked it, so I kept it.
It's great. It kind of has this vibe of like Phoenix is getting amped up and kind of freaking out a little bit, and then Mia calms him down, brings it back to her.
Yeah, exactly.
So then when it does build up again, it's like a more triumphant build rather than triumphant build rather than a chaotic build.
Yeah, so that was a happy accident. And then in terms of Easter eggs, we already mentioned the decree horns, which were in the original. I think they were in a slightly different place, but I do a lot of Easter eggs. I don't know, it makes my brain go brrr. So
one in particular, which will come up often.
Okay, shut up.
It's okay.
No, it's funny.
It's good. It's good.
It's the most versatile pattern you can imagine. So
for the uninitiated, it's Objection 2001. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Of course it's everywhere.
Why? How can't I?
It's
can't
great.
How can we not? I do it too.
Yeah.
So the part that I tried to do like a little sneaky thing was when Gumshoe comes in.
With Maggie.
What is his line? Yeah, with Maggie.
Today's the day. My
today's the
paycheck
day.
comes in the mail.
So this one didn't really work out, but oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to see this all. Oh yeah, so if you look in like the saxophones, it has the essence of Gumshoe's theme.
Yeah.
The da 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 da. It's not that at all anymore because it just really did not fit the sound. But that was what was tried there. More successful is the next one for Maggie. There's some Blue Badger and the flute. Do 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 do. And then for the next line is Lana.
Lana baby.
Mm-hmm.
Lana baby. In this show, Lana gets Emma's theme.
It is Turnabout Sisters 2005.
It is.
There's the sisters.
It's true.
Yeah.
This is true.
And that was established back in the original Red, White, and You anyway.
Yes,
so.
yes, it was.
was
Yeah, in
that
the original
further
Red, White,
twist.
and You.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's in the trombone here. She also gets, in terms of instruments, this is matching the instrumentation of Guilty Convictions. The brass, the oboe, and the drums, the da 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 da. So and she has Emma's theme in the trombone, the da 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 da. And that I think is it for Easter eggs. So that's all I gotta say.
You'll recall it just like it was yesterday.
We really don't.
All right.
It was 2001.
All right, next.
Not 2001, 2021.
All right, next song.